Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a while. As you could tell, I'm not going to give another return speech, as those always come back to bite me in my ass. But the new TEW game is coming out. It's releasing shortly. It's currently the beta stage. I, for one, have been having a ton of fun with everything. Just having a blast with the game so far. And I wanted to do a couple save ideas. And I've always had trouble committing to these various saves. So this save, I mean, you can already tell by the YouTube title what the save is, but I'll probably go in depth with it because you're probably like, what the fuck is this shit? Which is totally fair. But before we get into that, first things first, obviously you could tell that the skin that I'm using is a little different. It's grayscale. That's because I'm making skin. I put the link in the description. It is currently not ready for public use yet. It should be soon. I was hoping to get it done today, get like a 2-for-1 combo, but unfortunately I could not. But by the time that the second episode airs, it is there. Or you can just go to the thread that I linked in the description, follow that, and you'll see when I announce it's publicly released. So just keep that in mind. That's why it kind of looks funky. I'll try not to go there. I'm not going to, spend too long on this because it's hot, and I don't like talking when it's hot, as you can tell by how this is. So, what is this? This save is a local to global save. You've probably seen them before. If you're not familiar, I'll go over with quick. But ours is slightly different. Local to global is essentially when you create a company in this game from scratch, make your own wrestling promotion. You can choose how difficult the game is, and this goes off the old TEW team terminology. You started at the local section, which is the smallest size the company can be. In this game is insignificant to Titanic, but I called this one slightly different because what we're doing is a 0-0-0-0 save, and that is slightly different from a local to global. It's the same concept. You're trying to go from, the smallest company, the biggest company. We really are the smallest company. What I mean by that is, normally when you create a company, you have a little bit of money, usually $2,500, a little bit of like 10 pop. We have nothing. We have no pop. We have no money. We have no momentum, and we have no prestige. We are starting from the bottom bare. We are basically a backyard fed trying to become the biggest fed in the game, in the world. And that's a pretty tough task. This I don't believe he created this. I don't want to step on toes, but I originally first saw this concept from a man called MW Gaming. I have it pulled up here because I'm stupid. I can't remember if he completed the challenge or not, but he did this. He basically created the save. You manually change everything so that it's 0 and work your way up in the wrestling world. But, as you can tell by the title, I know I'm getting to it. I know I'm slow as hell. Please be patient. We're going to do something slightly different. As you can see, I'm finally clicking on the company. See, our company is the Tassie Action Zone, or TAS. And why is that? Is because we are based out of Tasmania. Now, you might figure that's an odd choice. You could have started anywhere. You could have started in the Great Lakes in America and whatnot. But that's where the extra challenge comes in. See, there's 2 different levels of this challenge that I've added. I came up with this myself. I mean, I might not be the first person, so, take the word created with a grain of salt. But if you go to the game area here, and we go to the Tasmania section, I will read this out for you right now. Situated a couple hundred miles off of the Australian mainland, Tasmania has a comparatively tiny population, and it is entirely isolated from the other oceanic regions. As a result, this is by some distance the hardest place for a wrestling company to exist in the entire game world, and is therefore somewhere that only the supremely confident, not us, or totally sadistic, that's us, would attempt to use as a base. And as you can tell, this is the home region of Taz. So that's kind of the first step in this process. We are going to try to. And by the way, for reference, Tasmania is right where my mouse is. That little dot is us. That's where we're at. So we're gonna try to go from here to the whole frickin' globe, brother. And great start already. Economy very weak and failing. Love it. Um, just really not the best start. Comparatively speaking, sorry for the weird cut. I thought of adding this. Let's take the Great Lakes, for example. This is a great region to run a company game because there's no other companies. There's a lot of key locales, a lot of key venues. A potential fan base is very huge at 90%. And you have spillover. If you're not too familiar with that concept, some people just play WWE and don't think this is the C-verse. By the way, we'll get into that, as you could probably tell. You have the tri-state. The Mid-Atlantic, as you can see, is listed here. So when you gain pop in the Great Lakes, eventually you'll start to gain pop in these other areas. We in Tasmania, as you can tell, not only do we have a horrible fan base of 15, we have no spillover. So we are working, and that doesn't mean that it's impossible to grow. There's ways we can get around that, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be rough, for sure. And to make that harder, we're going to go here. Oops, sorry, wrong button. We're going to go to our product. Now, you're thinking to yourself, what product did we choose? Well, I went for a deathmatch promotion. Why a deathmatch promotion? Well, specifically, it mostly because you have this right here. The company will find it very difficult to attract sponsors. What that means is basically there's 9 levels of challenge to this piece of shit. We are basically... if you vibe with this, we're like CZW or a kind of game changer wrestling, and we are starting literally we are a backyard fed. You can't get any more backyard than this shit. I don't even know if we're gonna have double digits for the first show. We might have 8 fans. We might have 8 people paid in the parking lot. And paid is a very odd suggestion. In terms of the actual specific product, I made a list of all the products that have extremely bad sponsorship, so extremely hard to get money. That's why you can see the core product is Barroom Entertainment, is because when I was testing this out, I was like, okay, if Deathmatch is just objectively unfun to play and not that great to watch, I'll go with Barroom Entertainment. But in the testing I did, it's honestly, I don't really mind. I've booked deathmatch feds before. It won't be the first, won't be the last. And we do get some bonuses, when we do run a deathmatch, we will get special bonuses to it. That'll be nice. But there's some other factors too. If you watched 64's Dave Save, you'll know. Fans are very opinionated. They'll turn on people who they don't feel belong. Sometimes I've seen this not happen when your company is specifically smaller. I don't want to say quote me on that, but I swear to God I've had that happen. So we might not have to worry about this completely, but I know the ins and outs of these mechanics. So there's that. Also, we can hire porn stars. So, if, on the booking team, you want to get a suck on the side, that's great. All of our matches basically have to be some kind of gimmick shit. So we are not Jim Cornette turn away. We are not doing that shit. And there's no countouts, no DQs, no sports entertainment finishes. For a long time, I thought this meant no interference, but that actually doesn't apply. I tested this out, surprisingly. So keep that in mind. We can run storylines, because that's the thing I wanted to say is all these things, are meant to be challenging, but because this is a YouTube save, I wanted it to be very interactive. I guess I want it to be kind of have you a little bit in control of the save, and I didn't want to just be okay, what's the best match we can do. I also want to run storylines. I have storyline ideas written down with some of the talent that we're probably going to hire. I have big ideas for this, so if you're worried that because it says deathmatch, don't really worry about it. It's a TEW game also, calm down. It's not like you're actually watching it. But I think this will be very fun. I'm very excited for this. Sorry, I just kind of ran my mouth. And like I said, it's hot in this fucking room. I'm going to. So as you can see, we have no money. We are completely innocent. We have zero size, as you can tell. We got nothing. Not even in our home region. We have nothing. We do have our base guy. He's just a guy I made. I can read you his little thing. A local Tasmanian who loves wrestling, horror movies, and doing anything in fives. Jesus! Joel Danzig is the owner and head booker of Tassie Action Zone, Australia's first and only deathmatch promotion. Time will tell if the young man can become the new Alan Packer or Richard Eisen, but most would think no. No, he will not. And we can run through the company a little bit. The Tassie Action Zone, or Taz. Tassie, by the way, I have been told is basically kind of a nickname for Tasmania. Hence, where we're based at. If that's not true, eat my butt. Taz is a wrestling company with big dreams, looking not only to go from nothing to something. The Hobart-based company, from what I could tell, Hobart is the capital of Tasmania, quote-unquote, is looking to take over all of wrestling, as in become the new number one wrestling promotion in the world. Now, the two things standing in its way the most is A, the company is a deathmatch promotion, meaning that few, if any, sponsors will stick to them, let alone fans. And B, they're based in Hobart, Tasmania. I believe Hobart is how I pronounce it. That might be correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. One of the most isolated and wrestlingless places on the planet. With big eyes and a little stomach, it will be seen if Taz can sink or swim to the top of the tank. So there we go. Keep driving that home in there. I don't think there's a lot to show you. I'm going to run through a couple things here, and then I shall end it. And I'm going to ask you for a couple of things here. I'm going to go with the short list, the amount of people. Also, as you can tell, I'm using the AI picture pack for the Seavers. I know some people don't like that. That's what I'm going to go with. I didn't want to use the GIFs one because I just, to be honest, I was kind of lazy and didn't want to make a sticker portion for Taz. That could change in the future, but I'm going with the AI pictures just because it's, in the game, it's new. I really don't want to have to do the work of adding things to the, to the base game. I mean, it's not that it's hard. I've already kind of done it on my own, but I'm just a lazy fuck. And also, I like most of these AI pictures. Sue me, I know. So I know that can, for Seavers people, that can be a deal breaker. I'm saying, please be patient. Please watch my videos, please. But right now, I'm going to go through a couple of guys that I'm interested in signing. Pretty much everyone on this list is. Some of these people aren't in Australia, so I'm keeping a watch on them just in general. But for sure, I think I want to sign Asylum. Asylum is he's got the psychopath thing. I know he's going to want to do death matches. I've kind of cheated by doing some test runs with this, but Asylum, I think, is a really good guy that for our company, even though he's a little injury prone. Bass Smith's from England. He could just be a good veteran kind of guy to teach some of the younger deathmatch guys to do. Bully, I can't... Oh, I should start with... the Abator, I'm gonna go, I think, Abador, some kind of shitty fucking gimmick name. He's good at death matches, so, that's, that. Also, we don't have to worry about the heels thing, we're good at that. Captain Wrestling I have just as a road agent. Bully from France, I don't know if I actually bring him in. If I'm really low on roster, if someone gets injured, he could be a good temporary fix guy. He's 41. He's pretty old. Chopper Rourke, Terry Rourke, as he's known, is pretty good. A little on the older side, but, when we're throwing bullshit against the wall and seeing what sticks, I don't think it'll be that bad. Craig Stewart, I believe, is just a commentator guy to possibly hire. I have hired some people. I'll show you in a little bit. Davey Ice is great because he's, just a young guy. Bring him in 21. He could be a good. Same thing goes for Dead Man Walking in America. I also just love that name. He's, I'm a big Christopher Walken guy. I won't do the accent. Don't worry. DeMarcus Lee, again, kind of, he's with DIW, but, he also could just be a good hand to have. 28 is also fairly good. We're not working about, he's flabby, like me. I'm probably a little flabbier, so I can't judge. Ichi Umehara, I'm doing a sideshow run. That's like my first save I've done, as well as the CWA. I brought him in. He's a former Wexiv guy, hardcore wrestler. Anytime we could get any experience like that, we could potentially try and bring him in. Fast Eddie, also known as the Fixer. Again, just another young guy, good, kind of a striker. So not as hardcore maybe as I'd like, but perfect for a tag team kind of wrestler. Gareth Chase, same kind of deal. I can never pronounce this fucking guy's name. The Hungarian Bulldozer. Your new name's gonna be Frank Thomas. I don't know why I'm throwing shade under Frank Thomas, but it is him who we're going to have. He could possibly be. If he's in DIW, so I might not sign him just yet. He's definitely a big name we could bring in. Jester, I'm a big Zen guy, and Jester has a great look to him. Not the first guy you think of when it comes to death matches, but he could be a great guy to have on the roster. He's probably a shoo-in, honestly, for me. John Temperance, 21 years old, good at brawling. Need I say more? Kimi Kanao, again, another Wexiv guy. We could potentially bring him in. Lloyd Banks seems like the perfect guy for this company. I mean, the dude's called the fucking barbed wire messiah. What more do you need? Maelstrom, a pretty cool looking dude. He's got a good gimmick. 6'8", good monster run. Could definitely be brought in and have some, fun with that. Magwitch is interesting. Kind of on the same level as Jester. Always been a fan. Could potentially bring him in should things get interesting. Maniac Monster, same kind of thing as Maelstrom, just a little bit better. He's more kind of... I've used him in the past, and he's done good things for me. So as terms of big monster heels go, he could be good. Menace to Sobriety, I kind of feel like I have to bring him in just because it fits the gimmick. I mean, he might have... like a nice, like, old man Terry Funk run, but he's probably not as good as Terry Funk was, to be honest, so just, that could be good for him to be there. Mercenario 4, I just saw this, he fit the bill. He's got the skills for it, and he's a hardcore wrestler, so why the hell not give a new gimmick? Milton Hitzelspitz. I can never seem to pronounce that name right. I don't know what the hell they're doing in Oceania, but they're going crazy. Use this guy a lot. Always fun. Whether it's this AI render or the original Severus render. Love the gimmick. Love the kind of how he acts. I see him as kind of like a Laparca with the chair gimmick. Always fun. Mosher, just another extra hand we could have. He's a little banged up, but what the hell? This is wrestling. Get over it. Nathan over here, I don't know if I'll hire him. He just kind of seemed to fit the bill. He could... I don't know if he'll be on the initial roster, but, he'll definitely be there. The New Zealand Pitbull could potentially be a road agent come time. Ollie Graves. I like Ollie Graves a lot. I've used him before. He's not the best wrestler, but I like the gimmick. I like the look. I think this AI render actually is way better than the Severus render. It gives a little more personality to me. But he's basically kind of like Menace to Sobriety, but younger, and he smokes. So, Sandman, question mark? Who knows? And not that Sandman was really a deathmatch guy. ECW and deathmatch are a little different, but hey, Pat Rigsby, just the thought of another guy who's kind of a big guy. We could bring him around for a little bit. I don't know if I'll bring Seeker in. I highlighted him just because I think the gimmick fits. He's very much like Raven, but he's a little old and he acts like an asshole every time I've tried to book him in 2020 and 2016, so fuck you. I'm probably not bringing you in just yet. Simon McBain, I always like this guy because he looks like just a piece of shit, and nothing says hardcore wrestling like just a big piece of shit that you can get hit with. Switchblade, another kind of guy, one of the bigger dudes, bigger name dudes we can bring in and have some fun with. The Void. The Void is a kind of the same vein as Simon McBain, but he's got a little more going for him. He's pretty tall, at 6'4". He'll definitely do some crazy ass stunts. He's got the Vampiro kind of gimmick going on there, so his ceiling is a little bit better than McBain's. Toby Tough, again, another young guy we could bring in at just 20 is crazy. Hardcore, again, kind of another Wexiv guy we could just bring in for fun. Underworld kind of very seems similar to me to Maelstrom, except he has kind of that spooky gimmick going on with the contact lenses. Although he's since dropped these gimmicks, it was too much of a hassle. We can bring that back. Fuck you. You know, you're working the show. Waldo, Outlaw, Odd Law, actually, but, you know, I like Outlaw. Worked for Wexiv, a king of the 64 Dave save, if you know, you know. And finally, there's Wrecker. Again, just kind of another young guy. So we got a nice crop of young guys, a couple young talents. One of the things I like to do is, if we ever make money, probably put a lot of that money to opening up a wrestling school so we can train some young guys, because, you know, knock on wood, hopefully injuries won't be bad, but when I've booked death matches before, it can vary. If we lose the main event guys and the young guys, we're just fucked. We're screwed. We don't have the most intense schedule, but, you know, it's definitely going to be up there. So that's all the guys. I hired a couple people. Owen Old Care as an old air. I don't know why I call him Old Clay. That's not his fucking name. Owen, whatever your stupid name is, with his pondering Reddit chin. He's going to be a road agent. He's also going to be on the booking team. And then we got some referees. No one gives a shit about them. We have one title, the Taz title. Got to use the ECW title. You know, you got a LARP when you got a LARP. I think besides the last thing I'm going to show, that should be it. We have the events. I have some events. Uncensored will basically be our kind of... So how I like to tackle these local to globals, I've done them before, is we have 3 years. Last game it was 1 year, so we have a little more wiggle room in this game. We have 3 years to make money. If we don't make money in 3 years, if we are in the red, we are, once we pass the 3 years, we are liable for bankruptcy. We could go bankrupt and we lose the game. It's not often you lose TEW, but we have a really good chance of doing that. Because, damn, we are going to be spending money like it's coming out of our ass. But by having two shows a month, we can at least guarantee that we are gaining pop. That's kind of what that's our main goal right now, is to gain pop. Because once we gain pop, we can gain fans. Once we gain more fans, we get more money, and so on and so forth, as you imagine. So I don't have many events right now besides we have Uncensored. Death's Beginning will be our first kind of, say, you know, like the kind of Big Bang WCW type of thing, if you know that. I had some holiday events, Anzac Day Disaster, basically just, you know, Australia, New Zealand, that celebration day. You know, these, I don't know how big these holidays actually are in Australia. I just saw them and I went with them. So if you're, for some reason, Australia, be like, hey, you stupid dickhead, no one would give a shit, I'll gladly change them. Boxing Day, Bloodfest. I thought of using Christmas, but I'm like, you know, it's Boxing Day. You gotta throw in Boxing Day under the ring there. International Incident is an event I crafted. You know, usually this is where we might bring in one of the Wexiv guys, might bring in an American talent, might bring in an Australian talent. Some guy new for the company will challenge for maybe the title, maybe, you know, somebody different. You know, there's a lot of different ways we can work off this, but it will for sure be a very big deal. And then we have Enter the Terror Dome. Enter the Terror Dome. Sorry, I always want to say Drome because there's a game called Terror Drome, which I stole the name from basically, but it's the Terror Dome. What is the Terror Dome? That's for me to know and for you to find out. Also, as a last thing, the January event, we will change that to be the anniversary show. So this will, you know, Death Beginning will change. But, you know, there's a lot of space missing on this thing. I want you guys to comment down below just any kind of name you think would be good for events. You know, think of it could be the cringiest name. It could be the actually most badass name ever for a hardcore promotion. Any kind of name you think of, just throw it down there. I would love to see it. Like I said, I want to make this interactive. We can change these names as time goes on. There'll be different rules to things. One thing I should mention also is, as this challenge goes, we could always change our product, but I want to keep Deathmatch, but if we have to change our product, if we have to change it, just for sure, we cannot do it until those 3 years. So we have to have this product for at least 3 years. I might change it to 2, but that's kind of what... So basically, we're not changing the product. I just thought I would throw that in there because I thought it was important, and then I started saying it, and I was like, wait, no one gives a shit. So yeah, give me some events. Give me title names if you want. You could just give me any kind of suggestion you want. I would love to hear it. I think I'm going to wrap up this video here. Thank you guys for watching the video. I'm very excited to do this save. I have some other save ideas as well, so if you're not too into this, I really hope you are, please. But if you're not too into this, I love to, there's going to be some other stuff in the tech, but I'm going to focus on this one as well. As I said, super excited. I'm super excited with this game. Things, I'm just glad to be back. And, yeah, endings are always hard to do. So I will see you guys in the first episode of the save, and it will be the first episode, quote unquote, will be of Uncensored #1, the first Taz event officially. And I will see you guys there.